Okay, I have to show how disappointed I am at this West Straight Grandstand. So currently this is section 3, which is about the middle of the grandstand in terms of the columns. And you see, this is the straight. Excuse me. And we'll go further up, but the point I'm about to make really comes across anywhere. We're about maybe halfway up the grandstand here, and you'll see that a lot of the view, actually where I am here, you can see the corridor, but if you go a little bit further up, and by the way, we all know that the further up the grandstand you are, it's supposed to be a better seat, right? And yet, if you're at the very top row, and you go here, you'll see that basically the entire view of the corner is blocked by the main, what I call the main West Grandstand. And I'm standing up right now. So let's say I'm seated here. This is row M, seat 26. And I'll sit here. And now imagine it's the last lap of the Grand Prix. And there's a really good overtake that's about to maybe happen. You're following the cars through. What's the outcome? Can you see the overtake? No, because this grandstand here is actually covering up your view. Now, this is in the middle of the stand. Let me show you what it looks like over there in section 1, which is closer to the wall. Now, listen, I don't want to sound ungrateful. At the end of the day, this is still an okay view, right? But let's think of the context. The context is you bought these tickets because it's the West Grandstand. They're called West Straight Premium. It has the word premium in it. You think it's good, right? And why did you buy tickets for West? Because that's where most of the overtakes happen. And where the overtakes happen? At the apex, the corner that you cannot see from here. And so, if you're buying these tickets because you want to see overtakes, guess what? On this stand, you may or may not see them. You probably won't, because where we are here, this is the 200, I don't know if it's feet or meters, but the 200 braking point. This one's 150. If you go look up past races, you'll see that the cars exit the slipstream at around the 100 foot or meter braking point, which you can't even really see from here. So, I mean, we'll wait until Sunday to see what the view is really like, but honestly, I don't know. I forget how much I paid for these tickets. I think it's around somewhere between $700 and $850. And I don't know. This is just not it. Okay, now I'm a lot further up. It's still section 3. This is row E. And we'll go to somewhere in the middle here. Let's say seat 19. And we'll sit down. And again, we're much closer to the track this time. And I don't know, what's it gonna look like when we go this way? You do get a better view. So ironically, unlike most grandstands in the world, you get a better view in this one the lower row you are. Because the higher row you are here, the more your view will get blocked by the West Stand over here, this big building. So you can see if I were seated here, actually, this isn't bad. But I requested the highest row possible because that's traditionally known as the best seat possible. And yet, I get a worse view than people sat here. So, I'm not bitter about it, but just know that if you're going to book it here. But ideally, you should get a seat in the main West Grandstand. Okay, now we're somewhere in what's probably section 1 or 2. I'm assuming past these stairs is section 1 over there, and this is section 2. But either way, let's say we're section 2 here. This is row H, seat 17. And we sit here. By the way, amazing air show, look at that. I did not expect to be filming that. And you get a pretty good view of the straight here leading up to close to the braking point. But then again, your view is completely blocked by this stand here, and you have no idea what the outcome of the overtake attempt is without looking at the screen. And from this seat, you do get a pretty decent view of the screen here, but just from experience, I know that's going to have a few seconds delay on it. And still, the point is, you came to watch the race, and you bought tickets at the West Grandstand to see overtakes with your own eyes. ever going to see them from here because of the fact that the view is blocked like this. So certainly, regardless of what you do, absolutely try to avoid section 1 across any row, because whether you're at the very bottom or at the very top, which we'll go to now. So this is now row Q, section 1, and the view of the corner again is completely blocked by this stand. And again, I just want to point out, this is the top row, which is usually considered the best row on any stand in the world. And if you look on the track map and you look at the West Straight Grandstand, you would assume that the section closest to the corner section 1 here, closest to the corner, would have the best view compared to, say, section, I think, 6 or 7 at the opposite end of this stand. You would assume that you have a better view onto the actual apex of the corner than the opposite end of this stand. And yet, because of the placement of this stand compared to the placement of the more permanent, well, not just more permanent, but absolutely permanent West stand, your view of the corner is completely blocked. But just to make the point, let's actually go all the way to the opposite end of this stand just to compare and see if they actually do get a better view compared to what I've been showing. Okay, so this is row A. This is the first row in section 2. And if you look this way, if you're stood up, you can see the corner, so that's good. If you're sat down, but honestly, if you're here, if you sit down and you look this way, nah, it's blocked again. But it's not the end of the world. You could just stand up. But if you stand up, you're probably cognizant that you're ruining the experience of the people behind you. They're going to have to stand up, and it's a trickling effect. You're going to make everyone stand up, which, like, may be okay. But, you know, the people up there will be standing to no benefit because they're still going to have the view blocked. But at least you on row A will not. Okay, we have a Formula 2 session on track right now, so it might be harder to hear me, but you can see we're now approaching the opposite end of the grandstand. This must be whatever the opposite of section 1 is. I think there's 6 or 7 sections in it. So this must be one of the two, and we're towards one of the upper rows here. And let's just pick this seat here, 24 of row M. 24. And we sit here. Oh, and look at that. You actually get quite a good view. You do get quite a good view. So, I think the learning here in the outcome is that if you are going to buy a spot and a seat in the West Straight Premium Grandstand, you need to try and get the highest section number you can. Because this, you can see, is so much better than the view you get from even section 3, which is towards the middle of the grandstand. It's not like I was in section 1, but you see section 1 is even worse than section 3, but section 3 on its own is already quite bad. But just to compare, this is, I'm assuming, section 2. I think that over there is section 1. This must be section 2, row E. And let's just pick one of these seats here, seat 24. I'll sit here, much closer to the track, and if I look this way, you again get a pretty good view of the apex, which is what you want when you buy seats here. That's why you pick the West Grandstand. So you're not getting completely scammed out of a good view if you pick like section 1 or 2. But let's actually keep going down this way and see at what point it gets bad.
51 points.
So I'm just going to keep walking across here and see at what point it kind of becomes like a bad experience. I'm going to be row K. So this is row K.
34 points, and 5th is the Italian driver Niccolo Maccagnani, who has 30 points. That's the way they go into this weekend. So, of course, 2 races this weekend, and then there's more races here next weekend for this challenge.
You can see if you're sat here,
next weekend there's
you get a pretty good view still.
first section you get, in which incidentally,
And so all of these sections up through there, I'd say you're good to go. But I think we're very soon going to start getting cut off. So right about here is when it starts to get ruined.
Right, 7 races in actually 2 weeks.
So this is a little bit more than halfway down the stand. I think this is section 3. So I think as long as you get anything in section 4 or higher, you might be okay. Let's confirm. I think all of this is section 3. This is section 3, row K, seat 27. You get a, what I call a passable view. It's okay. It's okay.
So they are on circuit at the moment.
And if you're here, which is I think section 4, maybe this is section 4, row 13. It's already significantly better. Let's double check and see if this is section 4 or section 3.
From Italy in number 19, Campbell Pellic from Great Britain in number 42. And also watch out for Hunter Salvatore.
So we have to exit, and then we'll look at the sign at the end to see what is on this side, if it's section 4 or 3. So this is all of section 4, seats 15 through 32. So yeah, I think honestly, what I'm learning from this is if I were to do this again, I would ensure to buy a ticket in section 4 or higher. Higher is that way. It's further up the straight, but you get a better view of the apex than if you're closer to the apex. Because if you're closer to the apex, you're gonna have your view blocked by the permanent West Grandstand. And of course it goes without saying, if you can just get a seat in the permanent West Grandstand, do that. It will be better, guaranteed better than anything in what is supposedly called the West Straight, and I put in the biggest quotation marks you could ever hear, premium grandstand. I don't see what's premium about this grandstand given the fact that my view was blocked by the permanent West Grandstand. So listen, I know this sounds like I'm really unhappy. At the end of the day, I'm still gonna have a fun experience, and I know that, but I mean, again, I give you the context. I bought these tickets because I wanted to see the overtakes. That's why I paid what I thought was a slight premium to be on the West Straight compared to maybe on the South Grandstand or the North Grandstand or the Main Straight, etc., 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 right? I picked these because they're on this part of the track, and yet I'm actually not going to be able to experience what I thought I was paying for. It'll still be fun. I traveled across the world from Seattle to Abu Dhabi to see the finale, but unfortunately I'm not going to have the view that I kind of thought I would get. It's not the end of the world. It's okay. This is a first world problem, but I'm just making this video to try and help you avoid what I do consider a mistake that I made. When I looked up videos on YouTube or information about the West Straight Grandstand, I don't think I got as much information as I wanted to, clearly, because if I had, I wouldn't have gotten these seats. And yet, this is what I got. But hey, good luck to you, and hopefully you're able to get seats in this stand instead of this stand.